Love it.
And we're recording the bejesus out of it too. So tell me, how's your cough?
Oh, good. Thank you. I'm so sorry about last time.
Don't be sorry.
I was like, I can't talk.
You're going to die.
No, don't. Live on screen, hey? That would be good.
That would have been
recorded for eternity.
Very uncool.
Oh, no, thank you. I don't know about
Can I just get my book?
Yeah, sure.
Because I write everything down. And you had some good stuff last time that I really love.
Well, last time we spoke a lot about me, so I'm keen to learn more about you.
Yeah, no, I'm not as smart as you. I
don't know. Rubbish. I think you were telling me how you got into the kind of the safety element of it.
Yes. No, that's a good yarn. It's a good yarn. I think you like it. Yeah, no, it's a winner. Why can't I find our chat? Because I write everything down. Gillian Bullock, that was a good chat.
Oh, I bet it was, yeah.
Got all the names at the top, so
nice one. Yep. There I am. Look at that. Right there.
The system works, Kat.
It does indeed. Indeed it does.
Yeah. Now what did the clarity, the credibility, the compassion, the consistency.
That's the one. Yep.
Ruins.
That's it. That's the framework.
All right.
Yeah.
And I love the ecosystem of communication. That got me thinking too.
That got you thinking. What do you, when you work with your clients on kind of public speaking and communication and things like that, where do you tend to focus?
Probably rapport and I'm like you, probably connection. Yeah.
Yep.
So you have, I think you said communicate to connect. So we sort of talk about connection communication. So same spin on the same thing. And it's all about how do you actually, I guess, I'm going to try not to use the cliches and say connect. I'm going to try and frame it differently. How do you actually get a bit deeper, quicker, caring way, where you're not doing it for the wrong reasons, where you're actually trying to support the individual to meet their needs and to help them on their growth cycle and help them achieve what they want to achieve. So
nice.
I saw it.
No, go ahead.
So a great thing on LinkedIn this morning. Do you follow that Strati?
No, I don't think so.
He put a great thing up, and there was like 10 leadership questions to ask. You know, how are you feeling? What do you want to achieve in your career? Where are you going, etc. And it just resonated with me this morning, Kath, and I just thought the power, because we teach the power of questioning.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, so good.
I know. And that's all you and I are going to do today. We're just going to ask each other questions.
Questions. Do you find that some of the leaders, the more senior they get, the more afraid they are to ask questions, or that the more open they are to?
Depends. So good leaders will be good at asking questions. The ones that haven't quite learnt that skill, not so great, right?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Can I tell you something?
Please.
I was amazed. So I got a mate who, we're in the gym the other morning at about, and he said, the best, as you do, and he said, the best job interview that he's ever had, Kath, get this, he flew up from Melbourne, so he's with a company called Orica. He flew up for this job interview, sits down, the GM of the site, so he's at manager level and he's only a young, sits down and says, right, we've got an hour. He says, this is the interviewer talking to this guy now. You've got an hour to ask me everything you need to know to work out whether this job is the right fit for you.
Wow.
Is that off tap? He just sat back and said,
love that.
Fire away.
Hit me with your best question.
Instead of me asking you all the time.
Yeah.
And
you can learn so much about someone, can't you, by the questions that they ask? So in the process, the interviewer would have learned so much about the interviewee, about your mate.
Too true.
Amazing.
Too true.
I wish more people had the courage to do that.
I know. Next job interview that I have, I'm going to.
Yeah.
I'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah, please do. Please do.
So
I've got my morning coffee here. So
go girl. I've already had one or two.
Yeah, I'll bet.
So, I love the power of questioning. Even yesterday, like probably 12 o'clock yesterday, I was still training this particular group on the right questions to ask. And I actually teach them to prepare questions. And what I mean by that is, Kath, like some questions that I like, when we ask them, they're very natural. When you're a leader, you've sometimes got to go out and have a planned conversation or a fierce conversation. I was actually teaching safety conversations yesterday, and I'll tell you how I got into safety. So that's a real skill set, to talk to someone about safety, especially if they don't want to be spoken to about safety, because they know the job. And we've been doing it 1,000 times. And
1,000 times, yeah, I can imagine.
So what we do is we set leaders up with the right questions that break all of those barriers down instantaneously, so that you can actually get to that connection piece.
Yeah.
And what I say to them is, try this at home on your significant other.
Is that wise?
Maybe not.
If you can master that, then you're set to go.
I know.
I love it.
and I say, make sure you try these questions, because I can give you all of the stuff to do and say, if it's too scripted, it won't be right.
Yeah.
If it's not scripted enough, you just won't be in flow as well. So it's about this flow, and the flow comes with prep, and the flow comes with being comfortable in your own skin, that you know how your words are going to come out. Because, as you know, in tense situations, one word can derail your whole communication and connection. And I just love the power of questioning, and I love doing it right. And my favourite one is talk me through that, old mate.
Old mate. I love it.
or old love, which I'll just drop the old love. Or you can even use their names, which is even better. Kath.
Even better.
And I say to people, get used to using people's names and watch your connection go through the roof.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when you first meet somebody. It was quite funny though that you say that, because the other day my husband said my name and I was like, oh, that's really weird, because we find that we don't tend to say each other's names, because you have affectionate names. Yeah, exactly. And you just the thing. So when Catherine came out, I was like, oh, what did I do? Am I in trouble? Yikes. Who's that then? Who are you talking to?
Hey, tell me this, Kath. Can I ask you, talking about your significant other, do you, like I say to most of the leaders that I train, try this at home? And whether it's public speaking or, because your significant other's a great critic. They give you the gift of feedback. Yeah. And
you'd like to think that they do. You'd like to think that they do.
They do it with the right intent and very honestly. And they're worried about, you doing a good job and making sure, because they want to protect you, of course, and all those sort of things. Yeah. So 2 questions for you. One, is that something you recommend with leaders? And that's probably an easy answer. And the second one is, do you practice at home with your
with my significant other? I've been practicing with him for the last 19 years. So
I'm talking public speaking and stuff.
It's actually funny that you say that, because our very first date, and I was still at university at the time.
A little girl.
But I knew it was obviously a foresight that I should go into this gig, because we were sat across the table and his body language was just so dismissive, and all I could think about was, oh my goodness, so he was just sat back in his chair, arms crossed, and he's a tall bloke, arms crossed, legs crossed, just like really quite defensive and not engaged in my mind. So I'm just like, oh my God, and I'm there, upright, leaning forward, sending all these I really like you signals. That's right. So I told him that afterwards, once we got together, and he was just laughing. He's like, no, I was just so comfortable. And so I always reflect on that though, whenever I do, and that it's all about interpretation, and it's that you can, somebody scratches their nose, they're lying. Well, no, they might just have an itchy nose.
Yeah, that's right.
They might just be comfortable. If somebody's playing with their hair or something like that, it means that they're bored, or they're not genuine, or they're unconfident, and just not there. But actually, so I play with my hair when I'm thinking. when I'm thinking. And if I'm deeply engaged in something, in a thought or in what somebody's saying, that's just I go to my my insight space.
I can't do that.
Sorry, I shouldn't have brought that one up.
and isn't that funny? Because I'm married to a fidgeter. Bred a fidgeter. and you know, when I'm talking to them, I've actually got to ask them very politely, give them the gift of feedback. Because it distracts. It's more of a distract, and it's not that they're disengaged. It means they're highly engaged.
Yeah. I
just say, Jules, you know, can you stop tapping something at the moment?
Tapping something, and
stop. Let's just focus, baby.
Focus just a little bit.
And I ask her to help me. Can you help me, Jules?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's.
Yeah, it's true. So yes, I do practice kind of effective communication at home. In terms of, do I encourage the people that I work with to? I encourage them to share with their partner or their family, friends, what they're doing and that they're trying to be a more effective communicator, and to encourage their friends and family to help them on that journey by giving feedback and helping them, but at any specific time. So the program that I work to has got 13 stages to it, and every session we focus on something else. And so I ask them to, particularly with their partner or whoever it is that they're closest to, so that they can get that feedback. But I'm also quite conscious of, just because I've got that sort of relationship with my significant other and with my friends, I'm all too aware that some people don't have that, and it can be one of two ways: that either they're disinterested and so they're just like, oh, whatever, I don't want to get involved, or that they don't want to hurt their feelings, and so they just say, oh yes, that was great, yeah, you're doing a great job, and being really encouraging, which is very sweet of them, but not very constructive or productive for the individual. So I kind of yes, I do, but I don't necessarily prescribe it as an official, this is what you should do.
and you're right, and it's interesting because I probably do prescribe it too much. I think I say, now try this at home, see how it works for you. So that's actually good feedback, good call.
That being said, if somebody's got a presentation that they have to give, a client that I worked with previously, he just kept coming into our rehearsal saying, my wife is about to divorce me, she knows this script better than I do, because I'm just so he very much did. He said, my kids know it. So he absolutely embraced that.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, and just the visual that conjures up of his young kids, 8 and 11 or however old they were, just sitting there going, Dad, this is boring. Like, well, if you can keep them engaged, then you can keep your sales team engaged.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So in saying all that, and we do presentations, so is one of your 13, Catherine, and I'm guessing the answer to this is yes, is one of your 13 elements how to actually speak to a group and how to influence more than one person at a time?
So I've actually got a couple of different programs, but I guess my signature one is the Communicate to Connect one, which doesn't cover specifically this is how you present.
Right.
It's more around this is how you become a more effective communicator holistically. Because to me that's far more important than helping somebody become a more engaging public speaker, because that's quite it's not one-dimensional, because the skills that you learn in that can follow through to other areas, but it's particularly focused around leadership communication, and for the people who need to rally their team behind them, who need to engage with their customers and various other stakeholders. They need to be an effective communicator at every interaction, not just from the stage.
Absolutely.
So that one doesn't focus on it, but obviously the skills that they learn is geared to help them in public speaking as much as it is with their emails and with their phone calls and blog posts and whatever. So it's about building their kind of leadership presence and their leadership brand by becoming a more effective communicator. But then my other program is called Speak to Connect, and that is focused on public speaking.
There you go. Yeah. Good. So you teach that, and what I'm hearing is that it's sort of a specific skill set that we can not only, I guess, learn in general terms, though if you can communicate to connect, guess what? You can ramp that up to the next level, and you can actually use that plus this. Yeah,
absolutely, because the communication is communication, whether it's to one person or 1,000. And what I've found is that for one thing, there's so many public speaking coaches out there who specialize in that I just didn't want to compete in that field, because it's saturated. But I think my talent and where I come from my career is to help people on that broader leadership level and the impact that can have, particularly for leaders within big businesses, to help them be a more effective leader by improving their communication. And so I want to help them on that, on the broad spectrum of it, and to actually change their behavior as a communicator and as a leader, and help them see that they could be the best leader, have the best ideas in the world, but if they can't communicate them, if they can't connect those ideas with their team in particular, it's not going to go very far. And yes, public speaking is one way to do that, but it's so much more. So that's where I come at it from.
And it's like, if you can't communicate it, you become the best kept secret, and so do your idea.
Yeah, I know. Absolutely. Which some people are terrified of doing. That, you know, they really want to make a difference and have an impact on whatever area it is, but they're really nervous about putting themselves out there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, which is such a shame.
I know. And it's like public speaking, you know. People are, hold on, that door's closed. My wife has been out walking the dog. She's a school teacher, so she's got home on school holidays.
Oh, nice.
I heard the dog come home, so he'll hear my voice and he'll want to play and pat and stuff. Which is so beautiful, aren't they?
Love it. With the Anton, with the work that you do, do you because obviously your leadership, so do you look at what are the different programs that you offer in the different stages of leadership that you cover? Great
call. So we've got an online program called Leaders with Influence, which is interesting.
Great.
And it's got 6 phases to that, through Leaders with Influence, building rapport, public speaking, robust conversations. And people can do that online, and then there'll be some coaching that comes along with that, which is really cool. So they're videos that people can follow through, and I'm sure.
I was going to say, how have you structured your online course? So it's videos of.
Very specifically, there's 4 weeks per 6 modules, so 6 months worth of training if you do 2 videos per week. So it's pretty huge.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's intense.
And it was so I took a month off earlier this year to actually build that program.
Oh, good on you.
Yeah, it was huge.
Yeah.
You know, when people tell you, Kath, that this is like a year's worth of development work, and, you know, we'll never do this in 3 months. And I said, oh, that's cool. Let's do it in a month. And got a great web girl who was just amazing. And she didn't know anything about a membership side or a video online. And she upskilled so fast, and I could get videos up to her in the end. So we got that, and we started putting people through that, which is really, really cool.
Right, yeah.
So nice to have an online presence.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's something that I've got in the back of my mind, because it lends itself well, doesn't it, the type of content?
I'll give you access to this program, and you have a look at it.
Oh, amazing.
You can sort of use and steal with pride.
Oh no! I wouldn't steal it, but I'm always
research and develop
how to structure it.
Yeah.
And if you recommend the platform that you've used, there's so many out there, aren't there?
I'll connect you with the lady that did it, Jess.
Amazing! Thank you.
You love her. Her business is going nuts at the moment. So
great stuff. Thank you.
Action. Kath, connect with Jess. So have a look at it, and I'll email Jess today and get you access to that, so you can work.
Oh, thank you. That's really kind.
Just look at the structure, or whatever you want, and do the whole program. You know, your call.
Thank you.
No, that's okay. I like it because it's self-paced, and the videos are 20 minutes, and then the whole voiceover presentation. So I've done a prezzo, and then just images, and you voice over them. So that's the structure.
Yeah, nice. And so you just did it. You took that month, and you just went hell for leather, and
So at the end of the day, it took to do 24 videos. Obviously, took 48 presentations, because I had to do the presentation first, then put voiceover over it. and there were some all-nighters, and there was some that had to redo. So you can just imagine the work that goes into a 6-month training program online.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But did you already have that content from programs that you developed that you were doing face-to-face, or is this a brand new?
Great call. Great question. Talking questions. So we wish I was out in the shed. So we've got like probably 10 face-to-face programs we run.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And there were 6 of them. And,
okay.
So each one of those programs will deliver out in industry or out in business. And what I actually said to Jules one day is, it was like, and I've since rethought this. I said to her, this training package is like my life's work. It sounds, can I just use, can I use the word wanky?
You can use that word if you want to, yes. Thanks for checking.
Yeah, that's right. Can I think it or say it? So I took sort of all of those programs that we had, and I actually started with the presentations for those programs and sort of chopped them up and started there, and that sort of gave me the backbone of what I really wanted to communicate with people in those trainings. And just hold on half a sec, girl.
Yeah, sure. Yep.
All right, cool. Oh, it's getting a bit noisy. Kath, our lovely cleaners here. Thing out there. Someone just came in the house. You know when you who's in our house?
Who's this?
It's because she's got a key. That'll help.
Yes, I've found that helpful in the past.
But so we took all these 6 programs and made them into sort of a month worth of training each that people could follow through. And I just love, Kath, that every time we get a phone call, and each one of those programs is. Here's the thing for us. We have developed, and you're probably the same. And let me actually, I'll explain to you how we do it, and then I'll ask you if you're. We would develop, 20 to 50 programs a year, right, for business.
Right.
Now and that's ramped up over the last couple of years. So say, we can try and do some numbers. Let's say I've developed, 100 programs. Let's say I've done 100 different courses over the last few years, right?
Right.
No 2 of them are the same ever.
Wow.
No vanilla at TGG. So people come, and it's even recently. So we got a proposal over the line yesterday, which was really nice with the local business, and they came and they said, "Can you do the same course that you did last year?" I said, "No, sorry," because I learned so much in 12 months. Like, I'm like you, you'd go away and spend money on your personal development. So so this is resilience for young trainees, right?
Yeah.
And so we did that in about August last year. Man, I know 3 times as much about resilience since then. And they said, "Oh no, we just want that one. That was good." I said, "Wait till you see this one." And so every training course is so different.
Yeah.
And we pride ourselves on never ever having 2 training courses the same, and so we make sure we name them slightly differently too for those different.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Wish I was out in the office. We're in the studio at the moment. I'd show you all those workbooks. We've got the pile of each one. So roll that out and just say, "Look here, this is what it might look like. It's going to be tailored for you."
For you, yeah, nice.
I need. And what that comes with is a bit of my time up front, which some people are happy to pay for, some aren't. Like I say, I come and sit with you for half a day because I want to understand your culture. I want to understand what's going on in your business. I want to understand why you training these operations trainees in resilience. What do you want them to walk? What are the key takeaways? What's the culture in your business that they're going to have to be resilient for?
It's a good question. Great question.
There you go.
Love a question.
I go and interrogate them for a while and find out how they can build a great program for them. So is that a sort of a process you use, or do you do much?
It is. It was. So in answer to your question, twofold. So I'm coach and consultant. So in my coaching world, as I say, I've got these 2 programs, the crux of which stays the same because I've found that it works, but it's always tailored to any specific client and what they're going through at that time. Because if I think of it as the spectrum of, as those kind of 13 areas, then some people might really need to focus or want to focus on a few of them, and they're interested in the others, but you can kind of speed through them. So I'll still make sure that they are aware of them and understand them, but that will hone in on one particular area. Or they might have a particular challenge that they're dealing with. They might need to factor in additional elements. So I'll always tailor it to the individual at the time, because that's what I want to do. I want to make sure that they've got their value. Absolutely. So from the coaching side, it's more like tailoring what's already there. So that's almost like the skeleton of it. And then I'll build on it accordingly. With the consulting side of it, then that's more doing more strategy work for clients and big organizations. And whilst I'd love to say that it's different for every client, it's actually not.
Pretty similar.
Yeah, simply because the process of what they're going through, a bit like creating a business strategy, the process that you go through to arrive at that strategy, essentially you might use different techniques, but essentially you go from big to small, you funnel it down to what you're going to do and what works well for your purpose, your mission, your vision. And so the consulting work that I do sits over the business strategy. So it's like, here's your business strategy, what's your communication strategy on top of that? And essentially it's there to do exactly the same thing no matter which organization you go to. It's about bringing your business strategy to life. And so the way that we do that and the techniques that I might suggest will change depending on the organization and its culture. And the audience that they're trying to target. Are we talking 50-year-old men, or are we talking 25-year-old mixed organization? Are we talking about Caucasian, or is it multicultural? And so the techniques and the channels that we'll use to communicate with the audience will change. But the fundamentals of what that communication strategy seeks to achieve, it's the same across organizations. So probably less fluidity, I think, in terms of the bare bones of it.
Gotcha.
But definitely the meat, the flesh will change depending on the clients. For sure.
Great, and well said, because and what I'm hearing from you is you're probably more face-to-face stuff, right? You're probably sitting down with leaders and really crunching through stuff.
Yep.
Whereas for me, I was born to be in front of groups, Kath, so I probably gravitate towards presenting. I've got an element of my work that is sitting down coaching leaders, and I love work. I guess I'm just lucky enough. Thank you to all my great clients that I get to be in front of.
That's amazing. So a lot of the stuff that you do is workshop style.
Yeah.
Great.
And
good fun to do a workshop. It's tiring though, isn't it? It's really tiring.
It's not while you're doing it. Like you being an extrovert like me, when you're there, we get
it's buzzing, isn't it?
We're buzzing. Then when you stop, you go, oh.
I did a session with Foxtel not so long ago, and it was just like, for the half day, I was just like, yes. And then I got back to the hotel because it was in Melbourne, and I got back to the hotel. I was like, I couldn't even make it to the restaurant for dinner. I had to order room service. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I was really happy. I was just like, that's it. I'm spent. I'm done. But feeling satisfied and good that you've made a difference.
So that's how I spend most of my work days, doing that.
And you obviously enjoy it as well, which is really cool.
And I sort of call it like a triathlon, Kath. You get fitter at doing it over time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely. Have you found that over time you've also found your niche as well, or do you like to explore different areas?
Kath, our favourite words in our business. When do we start? And yes, can you do? Absolutely. When do we start, champ? So it's like I just got off the phone actually just before we spoke to a local business in town, and can you come and facilitate a workshop for us? We need to talk before it. We need very specific objectives, and I don't even know what that workshop's about. We'll soon find out. It's just they've been in front of some people, so bring it on.
I'll do it.
Well, So yeah, it's always sort of suck it and see, you know. And I think leadership, Kath. Oh, I posted a great. Have you ever seen the first follower video on YouTube?
No.
Dancing guy.
No, I haven't.
Oh, don't thank me now. Don't.
Send it to me.
I will. Well, check my LinkedIn because you're not right.
Yeah.
Check my LinkedIn and have a look at the post from today.
Okay.
It's about the first follower, is what it's called.
Yeah.
So it's about a leader who gets up and dances, right, at a festival, and there's a guy that voiceovers it. Someone gets up, and the leader, and the voiceover says, you know, when leaders get up, they look a bit silly at the start. They put themselves out there.
Yeah.
Until there's a first follower that jumps up and jumps into the game, that your cult-like leadership, where you get everyone engaged, takes off. So it's all about the first follower piece. I have no idea where I was going with that story. It just sounded like a good story to tell you at the time. Was there a point to all of that? I can't remember one either. Great call. So let's say no.
It was a tangent, but I'm excited to go and watch it. I've actually just seen the time as well, so I'm afraid I'm going to have to go.
Me too.
I'm excited to watch that video, and thanks again for putting me in touch with. Did you say Jess was?
Jessica Wolski Marie Design, a great little business. So I'll connect it today. That's the only action I think I've got, and she'll give you access to that training program. I'll shoot you this record. Did I shoot you the last one? Hopefully.
Yes, you did. Thanks so much. Yeah. The coughing bit at the end.
We'll get that up on our YouTube channels, and
awesome.
And might even be some content in it for LinkedIn too.
Loving it. Love your work. Thank you again for your conversation, and sorry about last time. Hopefully this has been a more pleasant end to the conversation.
I'm just still breathing.
Yeah, me too. I like breathing. It's good for the soul.
It's a good thing to do.